Right, guys. So one of the key ways to becoming successful is be very patient. Okay. Um, they say that from the age of 12 to 20, people establish an identity. So if you're bad at sport from the age of 12 to 20, it means for the rest of your life you'll just know yourself as being bad at sport. If you're bad at academics from the age of 12 to 20, you'll just think, I'm just bad at academics, and stuff like that. And yeah, I think we need to try to train our brains to move around that, okay? Because I was dreadful at school. I was dreadful in the workplace. I found working at McDonald's extremely difficult when I first started working there. It took me like 4 or 5 months to get the hang of my first station, the chicken batch, and I see some people they get the hang of it by the end of their first shift. So of course, I had a low IQ. I was bad at school, and but I despite all that, I still decided to give this YouTube thing a go. I still decided to try to improve my IQ. I've come a long way since then. All right, now I've been working on my brain for the last year, and I've done well. I've improved a lot, but I'm still a long way off where I want to be. So this time last year, I found working at McDonald's very, very difficult, head wrecking, mentally exhausting. Now I find it easy, so I've obviously made great progress just by reading for 20 minutes a day, which is funny because when I was at school, coming up to the junior cert when I was in third year, they said, you need to study. We got a letter home in the post telling us that we need to study for 5 to 6 hours a day. All right, and I did, and when I first heard that, I thought, no, that can't be right. They can't expect us to study that much. But then my dad said, no, 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 that's what it takes, and so I ended up studying 5 hours a day on my days off of school. I got absolutely no benefit. I've had extremely painful headaches and migraines. And after doing it for about a year, I just kind of gave up. And I actually think that doing all that study actually had a negative impact on my brain. I actually think it decreased my IQ. All right. Because I was quite lazy. I didn't even I remember I live in Goatstown in the summer of 2020. I decided to cut the grass one day, and my head was wrecked after. I found that mentally exhausting. All right. You should not find jobs like that mentally exhausting. Okay, it's a menial task. Most people don't like to do it because they find it too easy. Despite all that, I still tried, and this can apply to you. If you're terrible at say soccer, rugby, hurling, whatever, and you never managed to make the team or whatever, from the age of 12 to 20, you can still become good at it if you just train and be patient and start off with the basics. All right, and be persistent. It is rare; it doesn't happen that often, but you can still do it. I think a good example would be Steve Way. He was overweight at the age of 33. He was a heavy smoker. He was running, I think, around a 3:07 marathon. At the age of 33, which it's not dreadful, but it's not great either. It's probably the equivalent of maybe like a 20-minute 5K, 21-minute 5K. But he kept training. He lost weight. He stopped smoking. By the age of 41, he was running 2:15 in the marathon, which at the time was an Olympic and world qualifying time in the marathon. So he's probably the best example. But you yourself, you can become a better example than that, and I believe I can too, okay? And yeah, it is hard, it's frustrating, doing this reading, making these videos and getting so few views, but you gotta just keep trying. Because, if I give up, well, it's over. If you give up, it's over. But if we keep trying, there's always a chance, alright? And it shouldn't all be about becoming the very best at it, or making a living out of it, or whatever. It should just be about improving yourself. Because if I were to keep this up right today, well, I'm probably going to get worse. But if I keep at it, if I keep practicing, I'm going to slowly improve. And who knows? It might take another 2, 3, maybe 4 years to become really good at YouTube. But you gotta keep trying. So that's the thing. When I read these sports autobiographies, I don't read up about this enough. I don't read about guys who are crap at sport, who are maybe on the D team in Blackrock College in rugby, who go on to play for Leinster in Ireland. I don't really hear much about that. Okay, you know, and stuff like that. And yeah, so just don't give up and just keep trying and just it is hard. I tell you, when I first started taking YouTube seriously about a year ago, there was a lot of doubts in my mind. I had a serious lack of confidence. but I just kept at it, and my confidence has improved since I managed to get better. And also, even if this YouTube thing doesn't work out for me, well, there's always improving my IQ can also lead to maybe a better job. Do you know what I mean? And give me more options in life. So yeah, don't give up.